This boy jumped from the roof of the building, but he actually flew up. It turned out he was holding an airplane model. Through the city, passers-by's lipstick was crooked, but the model had no power source. How could it fly? It turned out this was a gift from his dad. He took it to school every day, but his classmates stole his plane. This made him sad, but to his surprise, the plane was actually stuck to the ground next to him. He thought he was blinded, tried to talk to it. Miraculously, it actually responded to him with the red light. Seeing that it seemed to be alive, Charlie was overjoyed. He took the plane to the roof. Let's fly. Let's fly. His thought he would commit suicide. She hurriedly dragged him down. Despite his objections, she locked the plane into a small dark room. But when he turned around, the plane was crashing around the house. His mom grabbed a broom and tried to beat it down. But the plane not only dodged easily, but also slowly turned around and ready to attack. The moment of truth. Fortunately, Charlie fiercely shielded his mother. This made the plane stop attacking. But his mom was terrified. She called for help. She called her husband's colleague when he was alive, Xavier. He took advantage of the boy's sleep, took the model secretly. After observing around, he did not find the remote control device. He wanted to use the knife to scratch it, but it was unbreakable. He could only bring it to his laboratory to test. However, the scan results were even more bizarre. It was a solid thing. There was no technological device inside. Then how did it fly? Xavier did not believe in evil, ready to use 100 tons of hydraulic press to open the model to see inside. But there was not even a trace on it. They had never seen this kind of material before, could only come back the next day to study. But at that moment, Charlie's mom called, saying he had learned that the plane had been taken. He broke the window. He ran away in the night, found his best friend. Then the two rode their bikes to the experimental base. But it was forbidden. There were guards on patrol. They couldn't get in at all. And that's when the girl thought of a good idea. She pretended to be injured and lost, managed to trick the guards into opening the gate. Charlie took the opportunity to sneak in. He came to the lab, wanted to take the plane away secretly, but he was discovered by Xavier. At that moment, the cabinet started to shake violently. Charlie seized the opportunity to run away. Xavier rang the alarm. All the guards were called to catch the boy. Seeing that he had no other choice, he had to escape through the roof. Charlie jumped down, with the plane in his arms. Everyone was terrified, but the imagined danger did not happen. The plane actually dragged the boy into the sky, through the fields, over the mountains, passing through the miserable night, and also saw the prosperity of the world, just like a father, bringing his child through all the growing up. Finally landed on a tree. The boy held the plane, longing for it to really lead him to his father. The plane flashed red when he heard it. It seemed to be responding to him. Charlie and the plane walked in the forest for a long time. Suddenly, someone waved to him ahead. He thought it was his dad. He came closer and found it was Xavier. He was so scared that he turned around and ran. But Xavier dragged the plane away. He stood up and wanted to chase, but the plane suddenly flew up. He was attacked by a fierce attack. His hands were cut with blood. Not waiting for him to react, while Xavier fainted, Charlie took the plane to a high tower, wanted to fly again, but just as he reached the top, he suddenly fainted. Seeing that the boy was in danger, the plane took off quickly, towards the direction of the boy's home. This startled the mother, but found that it did not mean to attack, so she opened the door with courage. The plane seemed to be guiding her to a certain place. After reading the meaning, Mom immediately drove there. Soon she arrived at the tower. Seeing her unconscious son, she took him back to the car. Just at that moment, Xavier also caught up with her. Knew that the plane was still on the tower. He took out a rope, carefully winged the plane, and locked it to the iron buckle. Seeing the plane struggle violently, he threw a second rope, but the plane actually ripped it off. He could only pull the ropes with his bare hands. Didn't expect that there was smoke in his hands. The plane broke free and flew down the tower, landed in front of the mom and asked for her help, thinking that it had saved her son's life. Despite Xavier's objection, she untied the plane, put it in the trunk, took Xavier's key and tracker. Then she drove away, but Xavier kept on chasing after her. He jumped on the back of the car. Stop! Stop, I told you to stop. She was so scared that she stepped on the gas, threw him off with a mouthful of dust. Xavier tried to catch up with the car, but found that the key was gone. He was so angry that he slammed the steering wheel. At night, Charlie took advantage of his mother's sleep. He took the plane to the beach. He dug a hole, buried the plane, and put a few small stones in it. He made a wish in the sand. He wished he could see his father again. After a while, he dug up the sand again, but the plane was gone. Just when he was disappointed, a miraculous thing happened. His dead father was slowly walking towards him. The boy could no longer hold back, embraced his father and cried out. It turned out that the plane was built by his father from meteorite. It was intended to be a Christmas present for Charlie. But on Christmas Day, the father had an accident and left him forever. His grandfather told him his dad had gone to heaven. Therefore, when he discovered that the plane had life, thought it just had to take him to the sky, and he could get to his father. But then, his dad told him to go back to his mother's side. He would always watch him in the sky, protect over him as he grew up. After saying everything, he sailed the boat into the sea. Dad, thank you for sending me the plane. I'm very happy. The father took one last look at his son with relief. Then he got on the boat and headed to the depths of the sea. In the boy's eyes of reluctance, he turned into a starlight and flew to the sky. From then on, whenever the boy looked up at the sky, he knew his dad was watching him, so he would not cry anymore. Instead, he would live happily as his father was watching. Although the movie ends, father's love exists forever.